going on, guys? Welcome back to my series where we're making a game similar to The Binding of Isaac. So before we get started, this is a series of videos. So if you enjoy the look of the game and you want to make a game similar to The Binding of Isaac, you can learn how to do it from scratch if you just start at the beginning of the series and go through all the videos. There's a lot of them. If you want, you could also download the entire project for free from the description of the video. So if you're like a more seasoned Unity developer and you just want to start here and you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, you could just start at this video if you want to. The entire project, including this transition and everything, is available in the description of the video for free. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a transition. So in my game, I've got these circles on the ground. So this one is going to be the devil circle, but there's also like an angel circle, and there's like a bunch of circles that I've made, and there's like going to be different elements and stuff like that. But for the devil circle, when you walk on it, it will damage you for 1 heart, and then you'll get teleported to an island where you'll be able to buy devil items for hearts, like permanent removal of hearts. And this is kind of similar to the game The Binding of Isaac, but not really. In The Binding of Isaac, if you kill a boss, if you haven't taken red heart damage, there's like a % chance of the devil room spawning, and then it's that kind of same thing where you can like sacrifice hearts to get items. So mine's going to work a little bit differently. This might not be the final way it works. This is just like an example of how this is going to be working. But anyway, so you go through the portal, or you stand on the circle, and this fiery transition happens. So if you go on YouTube, let me just show you. If you go on YouTube, there's hundreds of these fiery transitions, or any type of transition. You just have to type in green screen and then the type of transition you want. And a lot of them don't care if you use it, and you're able to use it for free. So the one that we're using in this video is this one. I'm going to link this in the description of the video. So if you want, you can go find it. Make sure if you're using this in your game, or if you download my game and you want to do this, make sure you go like their videos, subscribe to their channel or something. That way they can get some recognition for this. But basically what you have to do is, at a certain point in the video, you can see that there's a fire animation with a green screen background, right? And what you can do is you can record this in OBS. And then after you're done recording it, you need to use a software like DaVinci Resolve or something like that to clip out only the screen that you want and just get the green screen. So like, you obviously don't want this progress bar at the bottom or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you could also download YouTube videos. So if you download this, that would be even better. And then you can crop it. I didn't do that, but I'm probably not going to be using this in my final release of my game. I have a different transition that I made. So I have just a very, very basic transition that I like better. So it's just like the screen goes red, and then I can reuse this for like the angel room. It could just go white or something like that. But the purpose of this video is to show you how to do the full screen video animation transition. But for my actual game, I'm probably just going to be using something a little bit simpler, just because it looks more clean to me. You could probably find something a little bit more cartoony on YouTube. It might look better, but just in my case, I'm going to be doing that. So let's get into actually showing you how to do it. All right, so the first thing you need to do is, like I said, you need to clip the clip that you want and just resize it so that it's only the timeline of the actual thing. So this is my rendered clip that I have. I'll attach this to the description of the video, but you could do this in a software like DaVinci Resolve or Adobe, like whatever app you use to edit videos with Adobe. I don't even know. Yeah, so you got to edit the video so that it's only the exact clip that you want, and you don't need like the countdown or anything like that. You just need the clip of obviously just the fire with the green background. So I'm going to attach this to the video. This is not really part of the tutorial. I'm not going to show you how to edit videos. We don't have time for that. So, but yeah, this is the clip that I ended up with. And then so inside of Unity, you need to make a render texture. So if you right click somewhere in the open space at the bottom, you can click create, and then there's an option for render texture. After you've created the render texture, you need to change the size to match your screen size. You might have to change this if you're like using dynamic screen. So like if you want to have multiple options for your game, you're going to need to set this to a variable. You can use one of the static classes that we made previously, like the player or the level class. You could save that information in there if you want to. I'm just going to use 1920 by 1080. My game is kind of like cartoony. It's not really meant to be like a high definition game anyway. So we're just going to be using the 1920 by 1080. This is the majority of everybody's screen size anyway. So after you've created that, you're going to want to create a UI panel that will take up the entire screen. So if you right click on your UI, you can click UI and then raw image. When you do this, if you do this inside of a canvas, it will automatically be inside of it. And if you're using my game, you're going to be putting it inside of this canvas. But if you don't have a canvas, it will automatically create a canvas. If it creates a canvas, go over here on the right where it says canvas scaler, and you just need to change this to say scale with screen size, and then choose the reference resolution that makes sense. So because I'm using 1920 by 1080, obviously I'm going to use 1920 by 1080 here as well, but you could use whatever you want to, and just make sure it is the size that you want it to be. Okay, so now that we've created that, what we want to do is I've disabled this. So I renamed my panel Fire Transition, and I've disabled it as a game object. So what the point is that if I enable it, so like when I enable this, that's because we've got this play on awake option enabled, it will play right away. So you'll have this raw image inside of this by default because that's what you made. You right clicked and made a raw image. At the top here, if you click on this little picture and you hold the Alt key, you can double click this bottom right option, and that will make it take up the entire screen. And if you selected 1920 by 1080, that means it will fit perfectly in your screen. And that's what we want for a transition. And then at the bottom here, you'll have to click Add Component and add a video player. And then this is where you'll drag in your clip. So we have this timeline 1 clip. You could name it something better. Maybe just name it Fire Transition or something like that. This is your actual video. You'll drag this into the video clip. Make sure you click play on awake because we're going to be playing this by enabling the game object. And automatically when we enable the game object, then this will play. And the target texture should be the render texture that you made. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is to make a shader that will actually take away the background, because we don't want that green stuff in the background while this is playing, while the transition is playing. So if you right click at the bottom, you can click create and click shader. And then you want to do an unlit shader because we don't want this to be affected by lighting at all. And so when you create this, I'm going to be posting this in the description of the video for free. So you can just download this. I'm not going to go into how to actually do shader coding. I feel like that's a pretty complex topic, and a lot of the stuff you do nowadays, you just do with shader graph. This is one of the very rare occurrences where this is a lot easier to just use the shader that I'm going to provide in the description. But you can see that there's some values at the top here, these properties, and they are important. So the properties that you add at the top of the shader are like similar to inputs in the shader graph, or the things that are in the blackboard. We need to be able to change the color because the color of the background has to be very similar to the chroma key color, because that's what we're removing. The tolerance is how close to the color it can be. So you can see that there's, hang on, let me unpause it, and I missed part of it. But anyway, you can still see kind of like the fire here. I also have my pixelation transition going on. This isn't supposed to play right away. It's just because I enabled it here. But basically, you can use the chroma material. So if you look on the right here, changing this tolerance is how much, like how close to the color it can be without it appearing. So you want to put this number as close as you can where you don't see any green, but you don't want to cut. If you go too high, it will erase your entire texture, right? So if you put it like to, it looks like 5-ish here, or 496, that cuts away all of the green but leaves most of the fire. And then the main thing you want to change though is the color. So if you change the color, it makes a huge difference on how much appears. So you just want to play with the color of green until you kind of get it perfect. This could be different because all of the videos you see on YouTube could have a different green tint to them. So you need to match this as best you can with the color. If you click this little eyedropper and try to copy the color from here, that's actually not the best way to do it. So you're going to want to actually, you can do that as a starting point, but a little bit darker usually actually works a little bit better. Messing with this to get the best results is actually way better than messing with the tolerance. Setting the tolerance to around 0.5 and then messing with this is actually way easier than trying to just change the tolerance bar. Yeah, so you want to do that. Like I said, this shader is going to be in the description of the video. You need to create a material out of the shader. So if you right click on the shader, you can click create material and just name it whatever you want. I've named mine chroma material, but you could just name it whatever. And inside of this, inside of this texture option at the top, you're just going to drag the render texture. So not the video, but the render texture. That's what actually will show up there. And if you've put your video into the same panel as this, it will probably preview as the thing. So like you can see that I have the video player with the timeline here, and I've put the raw image. You don't put the texture, the render texture into this slot. You put this material that has the render texture into this slot. So then lastly, I've created this very basic script that I've attached to this little circle that's on the ground. So that's this raw devil thing. So there's like a little circle that I've put here on the ground, and there's some variables. So the fire transition, these are just game objects. So this is the transition, the game object that we made that's inside of the UI right here. When you enable this, that's when the actual fire happens. So like when this gets enabled, the fire transition will happen automatically. It looks like I messed up the colors when I was just demonstrating, so I'll have to go and fidget with those again. Like I said initially, I'm not going to be using this in my final release. If you download my project, you can get the other transition that I made that I like a little bit better. It's this one. I just like it because it's cleaner, and if there's a bunch of different elements, or I want to do like an angel teleportation, I can just make it white, or I can make it green if it's earth or something like that. It will make it way easier, but that's not the purpose of this video. So basically I've attached, like I said, I attached this script onto the circle that's on the ground right here, and the script is very basic. So I have these two methods. One is for teleporting me into the next level, which I've just set as specific objects. I'm not going to leave it like that. There'll be multiple devil rooms that are available, like lots of different ones, and it will random between them the same way it does with the level generation. We covered that in previous videos, so if you're interested in that, you can go back and watch the rest of the series. But yeah, so there's two methods. There's one that will teleport you to the devil room, so disable the room that you're in, and it will enable the devil room. And then there's another one that enables this game object that when you enable that, that's when the transition plays. And we're using invoke to call these methods. So when the character walks into this, it's a trigger. It's actually set up as a trigger. It will turn on the fire transition. And then a second later, because that's what invoke does, it invokes this method after this period of time. So after 1 second, it will teleport you to the next level. And then after 5 seconds, it will turn off the game object. That way, if you want to transition again, you can turn it on again. And because it plays on awake, so by enabling the game object, it awakes it, or awoken, or whatever, and it enables it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the transition. If you guys are enjoying the series, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if there's anything else that you guys want to see, or you have any suggestions for the game, definitely leave a comment down below, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one.